Hello students, I am Sir Glenn, your subject teacher. Welcome to General Mathematics Grade 11.
We are still on the fourth module, which is all about exponential functions. The fourth lesson under Module 4, finding the domain, range, intercepts, zeros, and asymptotes of exponential functions. Let's try to recall the following terms. An exponential function is a function of the form f of x is equal to b raised to x or y is equal to b raised to x, where b is always greater than 0 and b should not be equal to 1. The domain of a function f of x is the set of all values that the variable x can take. The range of a function f of x is the set of all values that the function can take. Intercepts are x or y coordinates of the points at which a graph crosses the x-axis or y-axis respectively. The zeros of a function are the values of x which make the function 0. An asymptote is a line that a curve approaches as it heads toward infinity. It can either be a vertical, horizontal, or oblique asymptote. So, you recall these terms kasi ito yung mga bagay-bagay na kukunin natin sa ating mga exponential functions under this lesson. So, generalization from previous examples. So, in our previous video, we use the function f of x is equal to 2 raised to x and f of x is equal to 1/2 raised to x. So, let's try to recall those examples. So, for f of x is equal to b raised to x, b is greater than 1, we have f of x is equal to 2 raised to x. So, we generated our table of values for that. So, ito yung naging result. And then, kapag ipa-plot yung mga points na yan, ito yung kanyang graph. Okay, so as you can see, if the value of x decreases, the graph approaches this line. Okay, so this is y is equal to 0. Yung line na ina-approach ng ating graph, yun ang ating asymptote, specifically the horizontal asymptote. Yung point of intersection ng graph at ni y-axis, yan yung ating y-intercept. Yung point of intersection ng ating graph at ni x-axis, yun yung x-intercept. But looking at this graph, wala silang point of intersection. Asymptote niya si y is equal to 0, kaya hindi siya mag-cross dito sa x-axis natin. Okay? So, in our second example, f of x is equal to b raised to x. For the base, which is greater than 0 but less than 1, f of x is equal to 1/2 raised to x. So, this will be our table of values. At kapag ipa-plot natin yung points coming from this table of values, ito ang kanyang magiging itsura. So, as you can see, as the value of x increases, the graph approaches y is equal to 0, it approaches positive infinity. Okay, palapit na siya ng papalapit sa line na ito. Ito yung kanyang horizontal asymptote. Ito yung kanyang y-intercept. Wala siyang x-intercept. Okay, so pareho sila nung unang graph. Allowable lahat ng real numbers na i-substitute dito kay x, pero yung y values natin from 0 papunta sa positive infinity. So, ito ang kanyang mga properties from these examples. The properties of f of x is equal to b raised to x, where the base is greater than 0 and it's not equal to 1, can be observed from the graphs. First, it is a one-to-one function. Why? Kasi it satisfies the horizontal line test. Kahit mag-sketch ka ng napakaraming horizontal line sa graph na yon, it will only touch the graph at exactly 1 point. Kaya siya one-to-one. The domain is a set of real numbers. As I said earlier, lahat ng real numbers pwedeng i-substitute sa ating variable x. Wala siyang restriction. Yung range nilang dalawa, yung dalawang graph ay from 0 to positive infinity. Okay, it always approaches positive infinity, pataas siya. Doon sa portion lang na may positive. Then there is no 0 since no real number can make b raised to x equal to 0. So alam naman natin na in obtaining the 0 of the function, we let y be equal to 0. So in this portion, walang real number na pwedeng mag-equal kay b raised to x to 0. Okay? Then the y-intercept is 1. So nakita natin ng point of intersection ni graph at ni y-axis ay 1. Wala siyang x-intercept kasi kapag walang 0, automatic na walang intercept. And then the horizontal asymptote is y is equal to 0. There is no vertical asymptote. So that is the case if the form of our exponential function is this one, f of x is equal to b raised to x. Paano kapag mayroon nang nadagdag sa kanya na constant term? Paano kapag hindi lang 1 yung katabing number ni b raised to x? Paano kapag nag-negative? Okay, so here are the steps. In obtaining the domain, the range, intercepts, zeros, and asymptotes of exponential functions of the form f of x is equal to a times b raised to x plus c. First one, finding the domain and range of an exponential function of that form. Yung form na mentioned earlier. The domain of the exponential function f of x is equal to a times b raised to x plus c is the set of real numbers r. So take note, yung range, yung domain parate ng ating exponential function ay set of real numbers. The range naman, the range of the exponential function f of x is equal to a times b raised to x plus c depends on the value of a and c. So nakadepende yung range niya sa value ni a, yung number na katabi nung term na may exponent na variable, at nakadepende rin siya sa value ni constant term. Okay, so how? If a is positive, then the range is from c to positive infinity. So take note of that. Kapag negative naman si a, the range is from negative infinity to c. Okay? Kapag positive si a, ang range ay c to positive infinity. Kapag negative si a, yung range ay negative infinity to c. Example 1, determine the domain and range of the following exponential functions. For the solution, watch this video. Determine the domain and range of the following exponential functions. The first one, f of x is equal to 2 raised to x minus 5. So take note, when we speak about exponential functions, laging ang domain nila ay set of real numbers. So therefore, the domain of this function is a set of all x's such that x is an element of real numbers. So for the range, again, it depends upon the value of a and c. So ang exponential function natin, it takes the form f of x is equal to a times b raised to x plus c. So kapag mas malaki kay 0 si a, or yung number na katabi ni b raised to x, ang ating range ay from c to positive infinity. Pero kapag mas maliit siya kay 0, kapag negative yung number na katabi ng term na may exponent na x, ang range naman niya ay from negative infinity to c. Okay, so in this case, positive yung nasa number niya kasi kahit walang nakalagay dyan, understood na may 1 dyan, and then parang plus 0 siya, 0 yung value ni c, so therefore our range will be the set of all y such that y is an element of 0 to positive infinity. Understood? For the second item, we have f of x is equal to negative 5 raised to 2x minus 3. So again, ang domain ng lahat ng exponential function ay set of all x's such that x is an element of real numbers. So bakit set of real numbers? Kasi lahat ng values ng real numbers pwedeng i-substitute sa variable x. Wala siyang restriction. Okay, range naman, set of all y such that y is an element of. Ano ang range niya? So, looking at the value of a here, negative siya. Since negative siya, ang range niya, it takes the form negative infinity to c. So, ano yung value ni c dito? Understood na magkakaroon ng plus 0 dyan. So, definitely, ang ating range ay from negative infinity to 0. So, our third item, we have f of x is equal to 7 raised to x minus 4. So, ang domain niya, as always, ay set of real numbers. At ang range naman ay nakadepende sa a and c. So, ang a dito, positive siya. Understood na a is greater than 0. So, ang range niya, it takes the form c to positive infinity, yung interval na yan. So, ang range niya, set of all y's such that y is an element of. So, we have the value of c here is negative 4. So, from negative 4 to positive infinity. So, item number 4, we have f of x is equal to negative 3 times 4 raised to x plus 5. So, ang ating domain, understood na, set of real numbers, set of all real numbers. At ang range natin ay negative siya, so we use this form. So, the set of all y such that y is an element of, yung interval na gagamitin natin ay negative infinity to positive 5. So, that is our range. So, the fifth item, the last item, we have f of x is equal to 6 raised to x minus 11. So, ang domain natin, we have the set of real numbers. At ang range naman natin ay, as you can see, yung value ng ating a ay positive. So, ito yung format natin. So, definitely, ang ating range ay set of all y such that y is an element of. The value of c is negative 11 to positive infinity. So, here are our answers. The domain and range for the first item, the domain and range for the second item, for the third item, for the fourth item, and for the fifth item. So, take note, when we are talking about exponential functions, laging ang domain niya ay set of real numbers. Kapag range naman, nakadepende yan sa value ni a at value ni c. Kapag mas malaki kay 0 or kapag positive yung value ni a, yan yung number na nasa tabi ng term na may exponent na variable, ang kanyang range ay yung interval na from c to positive infinity. Pero kapag negative yung value ni a, ang range niya ay from negative infinity to c. Understood? The next one, finding the intercepts or the zeros of an exponential function. To find the y-intercept of an exponential function, we let x is equal to 0 and then we solve. Okay? To find the x-intercept of an exponential function, we let y is equal to 0. The x-intercept is also the 0 of the exponential function. So, yung x-intercept at 0, iisa lang yan. Okay? We have an important note here. Some exponential functions do not have x-intercept. So, hindi lahat ng exponential function ay mayroong x-intercept. Then, some exponential functions, in order to find their x-intercept, we need to use logarithms. So, may mga ibang exponential functions na kapag existing yung x-intercept nila, makukuha iyon by using logarithms. Ano ba yung logarithmic na yan? Ano ba yung logarithms? So, yung lesson na iyan, it will be officially discussed in the next module. Pero, since matatakal siya dito, magbibigay lang ako ng overview, pahapyaw. Okay, so, exponential to logarithmic form. If the right side of an exponential equation cannot be written just like the base of the term on the left side, we transform it to logarithmic form. If b raised to x is equal to c, its equivalent logarithmic form is the logarithm of c to the base b is equal to x. So, paano basahin yan? Logarithm of c to the base b is x. So, napansin nyo ba? Yung answer sa exponential form, yun yung katabi ng term na may log, logarithm of c. Yung base, yun yung nasa subscript ni log, yung medyo nasa baba. Okay, so the logarithm of c to the base b, at yung exponent naman ni base b doon sa exponential form, yan yung magiging sagot doon sa ating logarithmic form. Okay, so examples, 3 raised to x is equal to 2. Since yung 2, hindi natin siya pwedeng i-write in terms of 3 as the base, so ita-transform natin siya into logarithmic form to obtain the value of x. So yung answer kay exponential form, andun siya sa katabi ni term na log, right before the equal symbol. Yung base, yun yung nasa lower portion, at yung exponent sa ating exponential form, yan yung sagot doon kay logarithmic form. So the value of x is the logarithm of 2 to the base 3. Second example, 5 raised to x is equal to 6. If we will rewrite this into its equivalent logarithmic form, yung answer, yung exponent, yun yung answer kay logarithmic form. Yung base nasa lower portion, medyo lower portion. At yung answer dito kay exponential form, andito siya sa part na katabi ng ating equal symbol, right before the equal symbol. So note, this will be formally discussed on the next module. Okay? Example number 2, determine the intercepts or the zeros of the following exponential functions. For the solution, watch this video. In this example, we determine the intercepts and the zeros of the following exponential functions. The first one, we have f of x is equal to 2 raised to x minus 5. So let's try to identify first the y-intercept. So for us to obtain the value or the y-intercept, we let x be equal to 0. So solving for that, we have f of 0 is equal to 2 raised to 0 minus 5. So that will be 2 raised to 0 minus 5 is negative 5. Negative yung exponent. For that to be positive, ibababa natin siya at may 1 sa numerator. We have 1 raised to 2 raised to 5, or 1 raised to 2 raised to 5. That is 1 all over 32. Okay, so that is our y-intercept. So for us to solve for the x-intercept or also the 0, so we let y be equal to 0. So that will be 0 is equal to, so we let y be equal to 0. So f of x can be written as y is equal to 2 raised to x minus 5. So substituting 0 here, we have 0 is equal to 2 raised to x minus 5. Since lahat ng number kapag ni-raise a specific exponent, hindi mag-equal kay 0, hindi natin siya ma-rewrite in terms of same basis. So therefore, there is no x-intercept and also no 0 for this given exponential function. So for the second item, we have f of x is equal to negative 5 raised to 2x minus 3. So to obtain the y-intercept, we let x be equal to 0. So substituting 0 here, we have f of 0 is equal to negative 5 times 2 raised to 2 times 0 and then minus 3. So solving further, we have negative 5, 2 times 0 is 0, then minus 3. So negative 5 raised to negative 3. Para mag-positive siya, ibababa natin to make the exponent positive. May iwan na negative 1 since negative yung numerical coefficient nito. So negative 1 all over 5 raised to 3. So 5 raised to 3 is equivalent to 125. So therefore, our y-intercept is negative 1 all over 125. So this is our y-intercept. For the x-intercept and the 0, we let y be equal to 0. So f of x can be written as y is equal to negative 5 raised to 2x minus 3. Substituting 0 here, we have 0 is equal to negative 5 raised to 2x minus 3. So pareho kay example number 1, lahat ng numbers kapag ni-raise siya sa specific exponent, impossible na mag-equal siya kay 0. So from that fact, masasabi natin na wala siyang x-intercept. At dahil wala siyang x-intercept, wala din siyang automatic na wala siyang 0. For the third item, f of x is equal to 7 raised to x minus 4. So to obtain the y-intercept, we let x be equal to 0. So substituting 0 here, we have f of 0 is equal to 7 raised to 0 minus 4. Any number raised to 0 is 1. So 1 minus 4 is equal to negative 3. So this is our y-intercept. To obtain the x-intercept and the 0, we let y be equal to 0. So f of x can be written as y. So the function is y is equal to 7 raised to x minus 4. So substituting 0 here, we have 0 is equal to 7 raised to x minus 4. Since negative yung constant term dito, ililipat natin siya to make it positive. So we have transposing negative 4 to the right, to the left. Transposing negative 4 to the left, we have, it will become positive 4. So 4 is equal to 7 raised to x. Since equal silang dalawa, we can interchange them. We have 7 raised to x is equal to 4. So as you can see, hindi natin ito pwedeng i-write in terms of 7 as the base. So we use the logarithms. We transform this to logarithmic form to obtain the x-intercept and the 0. So we have the logarithm of 4 to the base 7 is equal to x. So pwede natin silang pagpalitan. We have the value of x here is the logarithm of 4 to the base 7. Ito ngayon yung 0 at yung x-intercept. So 0 and x-intercept. For the fourth one, we have f of x is equal to negative 3 times 4 raised to x plus 5. So the y-intercept here, we let x equal to 0. So substituting 0 to all the x's here, we have f of 0 is equal to negative 3 times 4 raised to 0 plus 5. So any number raised to 0 is 1. So negative 3 times 1 plus 5. So that is negative 3 plus 5. We have positive 2. This is our y-intercept. So for the x-intercept and the 0, we let y be equal to 0. So the function is y is equal to negative 3 times 4 raised to x plus 5. Substituting 0 here, we have 0 is equal to negative 3 times 4 raised to x plus 5. Since negative yung term na to, we can transpose it to the left to make it positive. So it will become 3 times 4 raised to x is equal to 5. Divide both sides by 3 para maalis yung number dyan to make it 1. So ang resulting equation ay 4 raised to x is equal to 5 all over 3. Since hindi natin ito ma-rewrite in terms of 4 as the base, we transform this exponential form to its equivalent logarithmic form. So we have the logarithm of 5 all over 3. So this is 3. The logarithm of 5 all over 3 to the base 4 is equal to x. Or we have x is equal to the logarithm of 5 all over 3 to the base 4. So for the last item, item number 5, we have f of x is equal to 6x minus 11. To obtain the y-intercept here, we let x be equal to 0. Substituting 0 here, we have f of 0 is equal to 6 raised to 0 minus 11. Any number raised to 0 except 0 is 1. So this will become 1 minus 11. So that is our y-intercept now is negative 10. To solve for the x-intercept or the 0, we let y be equal to 0. So this will be 0 is equal to 6 raised to x minus 11. Negative yung constant term, ililipat natin siya to the left para mag-positive siya. So transposing negative 11, it will give us positive 11 is equal to 6 raised to x. So since equal silang dalawa, we can change their positions, interchange their positions. So pwedeng ilipat si 6 raised to x dito and then maiwan dito si 11. So again, same with item 3 and 4. Hindi natin pwedeng i-rewrite si 11 in terms of 6 as the base. So we transform this equation to its equivalent logarithmic form. So this will give us the logarithm of, take note, yung sagot parate, yung nasa right side ng equal symbol, yun yung ilalagay natin sa tabi ni term na log. Yung base, yun yung nasa subscript. Yun yung nasa lower portion ng term na log. So 6, at yung exponent ng term na to, ito yung nasa right side ng equal symbol ng logarithmic form. So we can interchange their positions. We have x is equal to the logarithm of 11 to the base 6. This is our answer. Understood? Next one, finding the asymptotes of an exponential function. An exponential function has only one asymptote, which is the horizontal asymptote. The horizontal asymptote of an exponential function f of x is equal to a times b raised to x plus c is y is equal to c. So, in short, ang horizontal asymptote niya ay yung term, yung constant term. Okay? Yung constant term parate, yung ating horizontal asymptote. Bear that in mind. Example number 3, determine the asymptotes of the following exponential functions. For the solution, watch this video. So in this example, we determine the horizontal asymptote. So ang ating exponential function, it takes the form f of x is equal to a times b raised to x plus c. So ang ating horizontal asymptote dyan ay parating yung number na ito, which is c. Okay, so item number 1, f of x is equal to 3 raised to 5 minus x. So understood na 0 yung value ni c. So therefore, our horizontal asymptote for item 1 is y is equal to 0. For the second item, we have f of x is equal to negative 5 raised to 2x minus 3. So again, as you can see, wala siyang constant term dito. Understood na 0 siya. So basically, ang horizontal asymptote for item 2 is pareho kay item number 1, y is equal to 0. For the third item, we have f of x is equal to 7 raised to x minus 4. So we already have a constant term here, which is negative 4. So therefore, our horizontal asymptote here will be y is equal to negative 4. So item number 4, we have f of x is equal to negative 3 times 4 raised to x plus 5. So the constant term here is positive 5. Therefore, our horizontal asymptote is at line y is equal to 5. And item number 5, we have f of x is equal to 6 raised to x minus 11. We have the constant term, which is negative 11. Therefore, our horizontal asymptote is at line y is equal to negative 11. So this is how we determine the horizontal asymptote of an exponential function. Okay? For the activity, you do the supplemental activity 4. Give the domain, the range, the intercepts, zeros, and asymptotes of the following exponential functions. Submission of this output will be until Monday.